Well, my name's Daniel Sharfman from the United States, most recently from California. Been a teacher there for a number of years. I have a varied background, doctor of chiropractic. I was a reserve police officer, notary, EMT. I've done a little bit of everything, but mostly teaching in private colleges and schools. I was a technical reserve officer for the Los Angeles Police Department. I did that for approximately 8 years.
Did you make any arrests?
No, technical reserve officers, we were not issued a gun. We had our pepper spray, flashlight. We had the uniform on the badge, so we were sworn officers. And we would do basically non-criminal enforcement activities, such as work the desk. We would go out on calls that were 99% chance that the bad guy wasn't around. So we would do burglary reports, graffiti reports, and things like that. So we would do basically helping the community by freeing up regular officers to be more on the street rather than be behind the desk.
Your connection to Israel?
My connection to Israel. Well, a few years ago, undergoing some life changes, and then my daughter had the opportunity to come to Israel to do either a birthright visit or a 3-week study group, and she decided to do the 3-week study group. Now, my wife and I had raised her in a Reformed Jewish home, and she came here for the 3 weeks, came back and said, "Dad, that's what I want to do. I want to study more." And I said, "Fine." And she was kind of surprised that I said fine, because she heard from other girls that said their families practically disowned them for making the same decision. I said, "Well, you're just learning more of who we are. I'm all for it." And then she came back to Israel, and then several months later, I'm sitting around alone because of the life changes going around, and I needed to go to a class. I needed to do something. I was looking either for something in a community college, hoping I was hoping I could find something Jewish. So all of a sudden, I was scouring the internet, and there was this Jewish Learning Institute course at a local Chabad. So I went to it. It was a Wednesday night, and I went, "Well, this looks nice." It was in a Chabad house. Maybe I'll come back for Friday services, because I couldn't remember the last time I was at a Friday service. So I went to Friday, then I said, "This is nice. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow morning." Well, within a couple of months, I'm wearing a kippah all the time. I'm wearing tzitzis. I bought a new tefillin. I bought a new talis. And over the next 3 years, Rabbi had me, got me to making the Shabbos luncheon, the Kiddush luncheon every week. I'd do the cholents, the salad, the desserts. And I started developing a little bit more and more and more of my Yiddishkeit every day. And then another life change came over most recently. That where I was working, the place closed down. So really, I wasn't that upset, and I took this as an opportunity to come to Israel to visit my daughter, because she had gotten married last year, and now I have a granddaughter. And I said, I'm going to go visit her. And because I don't have anything tying me down, like a job right then, I'm going to spend about 3 months in Israel. So I can visit with my daughter, my son-in-law, my granddaughter, and one of my goals was to study in the yeshiva, because I never had that opportunity growing up.
How did you find Yeshivas Rabbi Akiva, and what attracted you to the yeshiva?
When I made the decision to study in Israel in a yeshiva, I first Googled adult yeshivas in English. And I don't remember if it came up on Wikipedia or some other site, but there was a whole list of all these synagogues. So I didn't check all of them out. I looked down names that sounded familiar to me, and everybody knows about Rabbi Akiva. Now, everyone in California said, "Oh, you need to go to Mayanot, because that's the Chabad yeshiva." And everyone here in Israel was saying, "No, maybe you should go to Or Sameach." And in the back of my mind, I always had the idea of going to Rabbi Akiva because it's in the old city. You got the hotel a few feet from you. What could be better? So when I came out here, I went around to the other yeshivas, and they didn't quite have a program that fit my level of understanding, which was about zero, my age group, my knowledge, and so my son-in-law and I came here and we sat down. We were talking with Rabbi Gold, and it was the interview with Rabbi Gold that sold me, because it was so friendly and warm, and it seemed to have the perfect fit from my needs. A little bit older, and at a nice pace, and as you can see, comfortable chairs. We're not sitting in plastic chairs or on wooden benches. And I said, well, this is really nice, and it's relatively close to where I'm staying, which is in Sanhedria, and where my daughter lives. So I said, that's it, and I've been now coming here for just over 2 weeks.
And how have you found it? The people that come here and the classes and the level?
The one thing that really impressed me, even after the first day, is all the people here. There's all different levels of background learning, from me, which has very little, to those who probably have gone to yeshiva before and they're coming here for maybe a brush up or more discussion, to be within a group of people, in similar age groups and everything. And I find it very comfortable. I seem to fit in right away from day one. I didn't feel apprehensive that, my knowledge is not up to theirs, because the rabbis that are teaching the various classes that we're having are presenting it at such a level that I could quickly gain the knowledge and even participate in the discussions, and even do a bit of that back and forth arguing that goes on in Torah studies. So I find it invigorating.
Any thoughts or sentiments which you would like to communicate to people that might be considering coming here?
I would say that anyone who's considering coming to Yeshivas Rabbi Akiva, well, first of all, you have to have a commitment at some level that you want to study, because that's true with any school you go to. If you were apprehensive about your background, your knowledge, are you going to fit in? I definitely think this is the yeshiva to go to, because, again, the environment is friendly. It's the give and take with the discussions. The rabbis are leading you along. You're allowed to voice your opinions. There's no feeling that, you don't know anything, so just listen. There's nothing like that. I mean, it's really like I felt like I fit in right away, and I think anyone who's looking for something like that because they don't have a strong background, or they want to update their background, so to speak, I think this is the place to go to. And then, of course, the biggest benefit is you're in the old city, and again, you're near the hotel. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.